one.
Real talk.
Raider Nation, what is up? We are back. It's Tuesday. It's 1. A little late, but it's okay. You guys were waiting. You know why we're here. Dustin, what's good, brother? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Just ready to get into this.
Whoo, we got a lot to talk about. Now, look, I was down at SoFi this last week. I got to go down to the game Thursday night. Nice stadium. I'm gonna tell you, it's a nice stadium. I personally think that Allegiant is nicer. I think Allegiant's nice. For my liking, I think, look, the stadium's beautiful. It's huge. It's really nice. I just like Allegiant a little bit better. The black is beautiful. But I was at the game. First of all, tons of Raider fans there. Like, I'm saying probably 70-30. Tons of Raider fans. They said, whose house? Rams house? Nah. It was. And I got to run into Lacey Jane Brown. If you guys don't know who Lacey Brown is, she's a content creator. She actually just completed a world record where she visited 32 NFL games in 73 days. So got to run into her. She has this like famous or infamous curse where the home team loses generally. There's only been like five. Yeah, there's only been like 5 wins. One of them was at the Raider game. But this one, I think she cursed the wrong home team because the Raiders ended up losing. But to get into that,
that's our home game.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, we can get into the game. We know what happened. We're going to talk a little bit about it, but there's a lot more that we want to get into. And Dustin, I know that you're chomping at the bit to get after this, but let's just break down this game a little bit. I know you got some stats. What really pops out to you?
Well, to me, I mean, you're looking at the amount of rushes that Jacobs had. You're talking. He rushed damn near 40 times that game. After breaking his hand, you can't expect your running back to have the same kind of production after he had busted his hand. And then I believe there was a play where they handed the ball off and expected him to throw with the injured hand. Yeah. So I don't understand where that came from. So you've got Jacobs' production obviously taking a little bit of a dip after that. And then we've also got the problem that Devontae Adams was only targeted a handful of times. And there's a specific stat out there that says that we're, I think, 0-4 when he's targeted under a certain amount of times. And guess where he was that game? Under that amount of times. Yep. So here you've got Hollins and Adams who are killing them in the first half, right? They're laying the groundwork. They're running it. It's just everything's clicking in the first half, I feel like. And then after the second half, for whatever reason, I don't know if it was the interception at the end of the half, but it seems like McDaniels just did not feel comfortable having Carr throw the ball anymore. And I don't understand that because I believe there was only about 7 pass attempts in the second half. So it's just not – it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And the other stat that we were tracking, there was no flea flicker attempt this game. So
remember what we talked about last week? In games that the Raiders have a flea flicker, the Raiders are 2-0. So
go back to the no flea flicker, no wins.
Yeah. To get into that interception, look, it was an ugly interception. It could he have taken the sack? Probably. Watching it, he had a Luminor back into him. There's potential that the ball falls out. There's potential, that something happens. Mac Hollins was open across the middle. There's a lot that could have happened. Coulda, shoulda, East, woulda. But that's probably a throw that Derek wants to get back. It's probably one of the worst throws of his career. There's been a million debates about it. I think that everybody can agree that it was a bad throw. I think that I don't think anybody's going to go out there and defend it. I said, on Twitter when it happened, if you make the throw, if you try to make a play, you're an idiot. If you take the sack, you're a pussy. And, it's a catch-22. Like you're kind of in between a rock and a hard place and trying to figure out what you want to do. And that's just kind of, that's football. Do I think that interception is what what killed the Raiders? No, I don't think that interception
No.
is what killed the Raiders. I think what killed the Raiders is the second half adjustments. Like you said, keep continuing to try to pound the ball with Josh, and taking the ball out of Derek and Devontae's hands. I think that the Raiders had a really good formula of what was working, and they just strayed away from it. I mean, Devontae was just mossing Jalen Ramsey. He couldn't Jalen Ramsey because, I mean, look, the man had his hands in front of his eyes, and Devontae still grabbed it with one hand. This man is unreal. Okay, get him the ball. I don't care. Look, I'm one of those people that I look at it like this. If you want to throw Devontae the ball 20 fucking times a game, throw the ball 20 fucking times a game to Devontae. I don't care. I don't care who the ball goes to. If whoever's making plays, whoever's hot that day, let them keep going. Yeah. I look at basketball. I'm a Warriors fan. If Clay is hot, you keep Clay shooting. If Steph is hot, you keep Steph shooting. You don't give it to Draymond and let Draymond shoot a three. That's what I want to see. Yeah.
Well, no, see, I think you addressed it before. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it's working, why are you straying away from it? It doesn't make any sense from a coaching standpoint to take the ball out of a top 5 wide receiver's hands after he's been killing arguably one of the top cornerbacks in the league for the first half of the game. Absolutely. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
And they were getting to Baker. Baker had no response for them. They had no response whatsoever. And the other thing is, one thing I'm going to say before we move on to the next point, because it's really going to get me into some things. They have a top 5 rush defense, and they were shutting down the run. I get that you want to hold time of possession, you want to hold on to the ball, but here's the thing: if you can't move the ball, I think Josh was averaging 3 yards a carry or something like that, which is absurd for him.
It was
offensive line was
like 3.7.
Yeah. Offensive line wasn't helping much. I mean, Alex Bars goes out, John Simpson goes in and plays absolutely horribly, and he got cut the next day because of it. Illuminor was not playing well. The offensive line wasn't playing up to par, obviously, but when you see something like that, that's when you as a West Coast offense, that's when you start throwing those short intermediate passes. I'm talking like freaking KG here. But that's what you want to see. And the other thing is, I mean, look, we watched it. We watched it the other day. I was watching, I forget which game I was watching, but I was like, dude, this is exactly, I was actually watching the freaking Chargers game when they played the Dolphins, and they were doing the exact same thing to the Dolphins that the Rams did to us. Those little short passes, getting your running back involved in the game, getting your guys in the middle across the game, because all they did is they just stayed in that zone the whole time, and they couldn't defend it, and that's what they did to us. Now, getting into that, because this is what I really want to talk about. Baker didn't do shit all game, and then all of a sudden, at the end of the game, fourth quarter, Baker leads a 98-yard comeback. Now I've talked a lot about this.
Before we say it was a 98-yard comeback, I want to say that what was it? It was at least 25 yards of that was a pass interference call.
Yeah.
So he didn't drive for 98. He got handed at least 25. So I'm going to call it 73 being generous. But yeah, I'll let you continue. And 45 volts.
And Tony knows where I'm going here. Tony knows where I'm going here. You guys know where I'm going. Look, we know. I play defensive line. I know that linemen get held on every play. I know that. But when you have something so blatant as a rear naked chokehold, I mean, Maxx was just sitting there, and I'm sorry, I'm looking at Raider Room's comment because I want to get into that too. But the guy has Maxx around his freaking neck. Maxx is flailing. He's doing everything he can to, one, still try to get after Mayfield, but two, try to sell the freaking refs that this is a freaking hold.
Dude, he's going to the ground with him bending backwards. Like how Maxx has got some crazy bend. We know this. We know he's got some crazy pass rush moves, but that is not a pass rush move. No, that's getting tackled from behind.
Yeah. And there's nothing that he can do about it. And it wasn't just one play. It wasn't just, one time. It was literally, like Tony said, it was like 45 times. We saw it in the end zone, which should have ended the game right there.
That would have killed it. That would have ended the game.
Yeah, they call the hold right there. Automatic safety, 2 points. Raiders 18. We win. We get the ball back. If you call one of those, look, Jerry Tillery is not absolved of any wrongdoing because that was a stupid penalty. You got to have your head on. That's what you get paid for. You got to have your head on the swivel. You got to be smart. You got to not make stupid little penalties, especially when you know you're on the Raiders. Mm-hmm. When you know that they're looking for a reason to find a way to get you down.
And I'm sorry, you don't foul the quarterback where the ref's eyes are locked on that quarterback. You don't foul the quarterback in a 2-minute drill.
Nope.
It absolutely no sense to her.
That shit that happens to you in practice, like you do that in practice, your coach is making you run a lap. Yeah, he's not a rookie. He's not somebody who's coming in.
Tillery is a 4-year vet. There's no excuse for it. You're in the league 4 years. You know the game. You know the rep of the teams. You know the refs are iffy at best when you're playing on this particular team that wears silver and black. So you don't look at the quarterback in the final 2 minutes.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at the questions here, and then we're going to get into it. Got Raider Room, love Jacobson. He always comes to play, but why did he carry the ball 27s when he was banged up on a short week and got banged up during the game? I don't know. Beats the hell out of me.
Like you said, he's been hot. He's been hot as hell all season. Yeah. But you're already dealing with him on the injured list with a calf injury, and then now you're going to add a hand injury to that.
And a quad.
And a quad, yeah. So now you've got him on 3 separate injuries versus just the one. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. We got Eddie and Margie Santos. Eddie from the Bay, I really think Ziggy will move on from Carr depending on what he can get. We get a bridge QB after drafting a DT in the first round. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say no.
I don't think so.
I look at, you look at the Raiders draft position. Right now, they're sitting probably about 10, 15, depending on what happens these next 4 games. It could go up to 20, depending on what they do. There's not going to be a quarterback in that first round that I look at. Quarterback isn't the immediate need in the first round. I do like DT. I don't quarterback in the second round. Look, if the Raiders do go for a quarterback, I don't think that this is the year they do it. I don't think that this is a year that you try to do it. If you do it next year, then that's when you try to go all out and you try to get somebody like Caleb Williams. Mm-hmm. That's what I look at. Free agency wise, look, I've seen Tom Brady's name get thrown around. I guess people did not watch the Niner game the other day. Look, Tom isn't the same that he was the past few years. This year we're starting to actually see that decline. Is he still the greatest quarterback of all time? Absolutely, but I'm not saying that. As free agent quarterbacks go, the only guy that I'd be comfortable with and even really like having that conversation is Lamar Jackson. And we know that Lamar is going to get the bag from Baltimore.
That's going to be a bag, dude. And you can't build anything if you pick up Lamar. You pay him that much, your free agency is over.
Yeah. So, those are the things that I look at. Now, getting out of the quarterback talk, because we're not going to talk about quarterbacks right now. We're not going to talk about that. What I really want to get into is the title of this. Is the NFL rigged? Now, before you start, because I know you got a lot to say, I do want to show this. So the NFL is recognized as an entertainment business rather than a sport, and they can legally fix the outcome of games. This is from Uber Facts. I found this on Twitter, 12/9/22. You guys can find it on Twitter. I retweeted it. You can go to my page at KennyKing_Jr. It's up there. But it makes you think, and it's one of those things that make you go, What do you think, Dustin?
I've been a fan of this team for far too long, pounding the table saying that the refs, the refs are out to get us, and everyone always says, no, you're just saying that because you lost. I can't tell you how many of those comments I got on my last post saying, bro, give it up. No, the refs aren't out to get you guys. I'm sorry, but when you've got a team that is looking to close out a game, should it have been that close in the first place? No, absolutely not. But you've got a team that's looking to close out on a drive. You've got a hold in the end zone, missed. You've got 1, 2, I'm going to say 3 other holds right in front of a ref, right in front of a zebra. And they're nothing. No yellow laundry to be seen. I've seen far too many controversial calls We're going to reference the Seawood Tom Brady Tuck Rule game. You know, I mean, there's way too many things that you can point to. Even in the past few years, the NFL loves a story. The NFL loves a story.
Yeah.
You've got Carr's slide to end the Jacksonville game in Oakland. They couldn't give you that final win in Oakland. They couldn't do it. So you have to call that in, let the clock expire. Oh, look, hey, they lost, you know. There's just, like I said, the NFL loves a story, and there's far too many things that you can point to that can convince me of otherwise.
Absolutely. We'll talk about the Raiders here. Excuse me. God bless you. My son just sneezed. But we'll talk about the Raiders here for a second. This season alone, we have the storylines of Jeff Saturday, first-time head coach, never coached in the National Football League, was coaching a losing football team, was an ESPN analyst, comes in, beats the Raiders. What has he done since? Bupkis. You have Baker Mayfield, signed on Tuesday, plays on Thursday, all of a sudden has this miraculous 98-yard comeback. What's that? It's talked about for the next few days, right? You want the NFL wants a story. They want something to talk about. You have look at the Niners. Jimmy G goes down. Brock Purdy comes in, lights it up. Now, remember, the storylines can change, just like in WWE. Things go off the script. Things go off. Things change. Brock Purdy comes in. You have him face Tom Brady the next week. Tom Brady grew up loving the Niners. Luke grew up, idolizing this team. They passed up on him, and all of a sudden, Brock Purdy comes in 0-7. So quarterbacks in their first start against Tom Brady are 0-7. And now you have this guy, Mr. Irrelevant, comes in and just destroys the Buccaneers.
5 for 5 on 20-yard passes.
Yeah, it gives you something. It gives you something to talk about. Look, you got shout out Unfiltered Truth, man. The Phils, man, these guys put on a good pod. Tillery knocks the ball out of Baker's hand instead of a delay of game. By rule, it was unsportsmanlike conduct. That's right.
Automatic.
There's so much. You got Meta Mike. Vegas Sports Today. That's what my outlet. Check it out. Dolphins tank for 2 in their offer former Fins coach $100K to lose games. We have Hugh Jackson saying that he was offered money to lose games. We got so many coaches talking about, look, there's the suck for luck campaign. There's so many things that kind of go into this that you can't not believe it. And honestly, I think before that game, honestly, I think before the Thursday night game, the Rams were just going to give it to them. The Rams were just going to lay down. The Raiders are going to win. And because now you have, you go on to do that, but now you got this Baker story. And who doesn't love a redemption story, right? Who doesn't love that redemption arc where the guy comes back and redeems himself? It's just like when we signed Navarro Bowman on a Tuesday and he learned the playbook and wore the green dot on Thursday and we went back to beat the Chiefs. And that was the first win that the Raiders had.
That was great.
What I'm saying? So those are things that we talk about. There's so many things that we get into it. I want to hear from the chat. What are some other conspiracies? Because we're going to put on our tinfoil hats and we're going to get into it.
Man, we should have thought about that earlier and made some tinfoil hats.
Bro, seriously. Yeah, the scriptwriters love this.
Yeah, last season it was great. You had the Ruggs situation, you had the Gruden situation, which I'll touch on that after this. You had the Gruden situation. You had all these things that were against us, and then you go on you rip off 4 or 5 straight in the end of the season to make the playoffs for the first time in 20 years, or for actually 5 since 2016. But yeah, you're either on the right side of the script or you're on the wrong side of the script.
So the past 2 Super Bowl winners have won the Super Bowl in their home stadium. Now, obviously, Arizona's not going to win the Super Bowl this year. But if we're talking about the scriptwriters, 2024, the Super Bowl is in Las Vegas. Do the scriptwriters write the script for the Raiders to win in 2024?
No, they won't do that.
I think they do. I think they do. I think the league has fucked the Raiders so long that they look.
Goodell's not going to stand for that.
Oh, I think so. So.
Well, you remember what Pete Rozelle said the second time Al Davis beat him in court? The Raiders will never win another championship.
Watch. We will. Look, I've talked to people. I've seen some people that are like that do odds making and stuff like that, and the numbers out there are crazy. Like I've seen, remember the coin, right? You remember the coin
Mm-hmm.
and how accurate the coin was last year?
That was trippy.
And, so I honestly believe that the Raiders will win a Super Bowl within the next 2 to 3 years. And I honestly believe it's going to be 2024. You can mark me down right now. Take it. If I say
timestamp it,
take it, timestamp it, take it to the bank. You can quote me on it. Mike, if you want to put that in Vegas sports today, you can quote me on that shit. Because I'm with it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So if they're gonna win in 2024, all right, we're gonna run with that narrative. They're gonna win the Super Bowl in 2024 in Vegas. Is Brady at the helm?
No.
You don't think that would be
so.
just the most insane story to begin with?
It would be an insane story, but what better than like I said, a redemption arc where Carr leads him to a Super Bowl, walks off with a win, and you have a rookie quarterback come in,
retires after the Super Bowl on top,
and then you have a rookie quarterback come in and just crush it for the next 5 to 10 years.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. If that was our script, I'd take that script.
Would you take a losing season? Look, and here's the crazy thing: the Raiders still have a chance. Look, I know we talk crazy. The Raiders still have a chance to make the playoffs, and until we're dead, I'm gonna continue to talk about it. Now, Phil thinks Raiders are gonna bring in Brady. Do I think it's a possibility? Absolutely, it's a possibility. I think there's any possibility in this league. We've seen every crazy scenario happen. Do I think that Brady fits? I mean, obviously he's worked well with McDaniels. My question is, can he still play? Is he still, is he still Brady? Is he still Tom Brady?
Yeah.
That's my question.
I mean, I'd say that's a valid question. After watching him on Sunday, I don't know. I really don't.
Funny, we lost a game that the week the Senate Doc State Gruden's emails were leaked by watching the NFL knew.
And that's what I was going to get into. Yeah, I was going to say, isn't it funny that, we're finally on an upward trajectory. I think when Gruden got fired, we were 5-3?
Yeah.
We're 5-3, upward trajectory. Things were going hot. And all of a sudden, oh, hey, check it out. Gruden said all this nasty shit. But Dan Snyder still walks away from it.
However, how Dan Snyder continues to walk away is ridiculous to me.
I think it's
then Jerry Jones. Yeah.
But he walked away from that scot clean.
The guy's a scumbag. The guy is a complete scumbag. The fact that Jerry Jones is still out there defending him just tells me that Snyder has more on Jones than I think anybody realizes.
That photo? More than that photo?
Yeah. Those photos definitely leaked from Snyder's camp. I mean, Snyder's probably that dude that's just got something of everybody's.
Bro, he's got files.
He's just waiting. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
look,
you're gonna have to
pull the file.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go. You're gonna have to go full Frank Underwood and kind of nudge him in front of a subway, and make sure that you're away from the cameras, because I think that's the only way that they're going to get Snyder. But I mean, the guy's.
I'm so glad you made that reference. I'm so glad you made that reference. I love that show.
Everything except for the last season was fantastic.
Yep, it was great.
Once they got rid of Spacey, and once Frank died, and look, I know you got to get rid of Spacey after all the allegations, but once Spacey was gone, the show was over.
It wasn't the same.
But okay, I'm not even laughing at his comment. I'm laughing at the name. Coach sipping Jamba Juice out of a straw.
Yeah, I'm laughing at the whole thing. It's great. The whole thing's great.
It is. I mean, look, but he's got dirt on everybody. He's got dirt on everybody.
Well, he said
and we know
much.
it.
He said he did.
I think the thing with Mark is,
I think we're living a WWE NFL collab at this point.
Yeah.
And it's been that way for a long time, and nobody wanted to face up to it. But you look at the last few weeks, you look at the Bucks and Saints game, same script as the Rams Raiders game.
Exactly. Literally the same script.
Within the last quarter.
Copy and paste.
They
And I
fucked
think
up.
that's
They used the wrong
what I'm
script.
saying. They're like, oh shit, we don't have time to write this. Just do last week's. Nobody's gonna notice.
Copy paste.
Like, dog, we notice this shit, especially as Raider fans, because we are so jaded by everything that has happened over the years, over the decades to our team, that we will point out every little thing, and we will find every little ounce of like conspiracy just to go in on that, because it's like, dog, there's way too much. Salute, Robert. Thanks for coming in. Big Worm, salute to you. Shout out to the chat. Make sure you guys are active in here. Make sure you guys are clicking that like button. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you're hitting notifications. Make sure also, I'm going to drop it in here in just a second. I'm going to send you guys Dustin's YouTube. We need to get Dustin's YouTube numbers up, because we want to be able to stream on his platform as well. Because in order for us to do this and for us to get us out there more, I need to see Dustin out there. And so make sure when I copy this and put it in here, I want to go ahead and post that in there. You guys go ahead and go sub to Dustin's channel. And like I said, make sure you're subscribing.
Real quick, I saw this tweet earlier today, and whether the validity of it or not, I'm not sure. But it was from at Senor Chilaquiles. Supposedly, there's a rumor in NFL locker rooms from opposing teams to hold Mad Maxx Crosby at all costs, that the Zebras will call a flag 1 out of 10 times at best. Like I said, whether that's valid or not, I don't know, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I would love to see a stat of missed hold calls on Max specifically. And I kind of got into it with a Niners fan in one of my comment sections, because he's like, oh, quit crying. I said, you know damn well, if that happened to Bosa, you guys would be inside out.
Oh, yeah.
You guys would be pounding the table inside out that happened to Nick Bosa.
Yep.
I said,
absolutely.
So he goes, oh, you're just pointing it out because you're a Raiders fan. I said, no, I'm pointing out a fact that has plagued the league for years. To every
I think
team.
non-Raiders fans have pointed out too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've talked to Chiefs fans, I've talked to Chargers fans, and they're like, dude, Max is a dog and Max gets held.
Yeah. Well, it's the only way you can contain the guy. You gotta put a neck or an arm around his neck. And that's the only way you can slow him down. And even then, it's still close. If you watch those holds, he still gets within a half a second of Baker fighting through that hold. So if he doesn't hold, Baker's getting destroyed. Because he was going against wasn't that a second string lineman that he was going against? Oh, he was lighting that dude up all game. He was working him the first half.
He should have had. I mean, he could have had 10, 15 sacks if they didn't hold. I mean, look, if they imagine if they call holds on that. It's going to be called every time. I'm not asking to call it every single hold, but when you have something blatant like that, you got to call it. Look, and when it affects the outcome of the game, that's when you have to call it. And that's what we talk about. Yeah,
when it directly affects the outcome of the game.
Tony's right, man. We can't even talk about Crosby without people having to mention Nick Bosa. I posted a video on TikTok, and I said, looking for Charger fans that said Bosa was better than Crosby. And all of a sudden, all these Niner fans flood my comment. What you talking about? He didn't. I'm like, bruh, like, ain't nobody even saying Nick. Like, it clearly says Chargers and Bosa. Like, y'all see that Bosa and just your freaking little peepees get hard. Like, come on, man. Like,
were they the same draft class? Is that what the issue is here? Is that they were the same draft class?
Bosa was drafted first. He was drafted in the first round, and then Max got drafted in fourth. And
I think the problem is they're having a hard time. They're having a hard time with the fact that a fourth round draft pick is keeping pace with their golden boy that was taken in the first round.
Yep.
God forbid Mayock made a good pick, right?
one of few. God, that 2020 draft class, though. I mean, come on, dude.
That's 21 left.
Dude, and Amik's balling. But that 2020 draft class, I want to see the 30 for 30 on that. What's up, dude? Caden, how you doing? Caden, you want to come over here and say what's up? Because you keep walking over here. What's up? Okay, go ahead. Go on, do your thing. Caden want to come over here and talk. You want to just sit here and make faces at me while I'm sitting there.
Yeah, dude. Amik's a dog.
Drop a tip in the chat if you want to see Caden.
There you go. Yeah, dude. Amik's been a dog here the past few weeks. And that interception to end the game, we'll talk about that one too.
Yeah.
I mean, was it a pass interference? It was touchy, but Hobbs flew in there like freaking, well, to use coaches analogy, flew in there like Batman and just snatched that thing right out. That was game over.
Yep. I agree.
And Hobbs, since he's been back off IR, has been a dog too.
Oh, Hobbs, yeah. I mean, look, he's, obviously he's having a little bit of growing pains getting back into it, but he's been playing well. I mean, what I like about Hobbs is Hobbs plays very physical. Amik is one of those guys where if you piss him off, that's when he starts playing better. He's one of those dudes that he starts going off when he's playing better.
Hobbs gives me old school Raider cornerback vibes.
Yeah. He's got that. Yeah, he's got that Skip Thomas. He's got that, he's got that dog in him. You know what I'm saying? Phil, thanks for coming through. Unfiltered Truth. Make sure you guys follow them. Subscribe to their channel. Check them out. Check them out on Twitter. They put out some great content. Make sure you give them a follow. Like I said, also while you're here, make sure you give us a subscribe. Sub to Dustin, man. We got to get him to 1,000. That's all we ask.
I'm low right now, guys. I'm low and I can't simulcast, and it's killing me.
And while we're here, also make sure you're subbing to the podcast. This is uploaded the day after on the podcast. Go to Apple, sub, leave a comment. Like, honestly, when you leave a review, 5 stars is preferred. Preferred. What the fuck? I'm talking like a weirdo. Preferred. Hey, preferred. You sound like Cody over here. 5 stars is preferred. And leave a review. Like, that's how. Oh shit. $10. This is a Chiefs fan pointed out. Hold on, I gotta give this guy.
Throw it up.
There is a Chiefs fan pointed out Rams holding Maxx. Bing bong. Now I gotta.
Thank you, Pineapple Beats 122 Flyer Horse.
These names are great.
Horse.
Like I was saying,
I don't know, man, but hey, Chiefs fan pointed it out. I'll take it.
I got to get Caden, so I'm gonna grab Caden real quick. Dustin, holler at these people real quick.
No, guys, I appreciate any subs or anything like that. I really appreciate it. Like I said, we got to get up to 1,000 so I can simulcast this thing with my guy Kenny. Make sure to hit me up on Instagram also at the Raider Way _. Make sure to hit that underscore on the end. Otherwise, you're not gonna find me. So get on there. I post daily. I got reels. I got stats. Whatever you're looking for, it's usually coming out on the page. So I appreciate any kind of follows or anything like that. We're pushing for 10K by the end of the season. I've got about 570 to go before we hit there. So I got to get it in the next 4 weeks. 570 follows in 4 weeks. I think we can make it happen if I get everybody to swing through. So hopefully Kenny's not having too hard of a time wrangling up Caden there. He's a wild man, so it might take a second. Oh, here he comes.
Say what's up, Raider Nation.
What's up, Raider Nation?
What's going on, Caden?
He's chilling.
He's getting shy now.
No, go. I gotta finish.
Yeah, man. So I just gave him a rundown. Make sure to leave my guy Kenny a subscribe and all that good stuff. Leave him a review. This man works hard.
Leave a review. I work really hard.
He's got to get it. We've all got to get ours in. So
that's the only way I know that you guys really like what I'm doing. Like, honestly, the only way I get my feedback is by you guys, and I don't have a platform without y'all. So I appreciate the fuck out of everybody.
That goes both ways, man. I ain't got nothing without anybody pausing, swinging through. So it's anything and everything is greatly appreciated.
So this week we got the Patriots. Big time matchup. Game got flexed out. It was supposed to be a Sunday night game. Game got flexed out. Patriots are coming off a win. There's, most likely you're not going to see Devontae Parker in there. He's got a concussion. Nelson Aguilar.
Shout out to Aguilar for that.
Yeah. Nelson Aguilar, insane. Great teammate. Really, putting it out there for Parker to get looked at. This is a game where, it was bad. We talk about must-win situations, and every week from now on is a must-win. I've seen scenarios to where the Raiders can actually go 8-9 and still make the playoffs. But I don't want to look at that. I would like to have a winning record, and really the only way the Raiders are going to have a winning record is if they win out. There's no more 500 seasons. That's long gone. It's a 17 game season. You have to win at least 9 games. In order for the Raiders to win, you need the Jet. Let me look at it real quick. I got the stats here of what we need.
There's a laundry list of things that need to happen. But
Yeah, it's you got, where are we here? I had it right there, but I believe it's okay. Chargers have to lose 2 of their next 5, or 2 of their next 4. Jets had to lose 1, which they did. Browns have to lose 1, which they did. Patriots have to lose 1, which they will Sunday. And then the Raiders have to win out. That happens.
Yep.
The Raiders are in the playoffs. Now we look at these next games coming up. We've got the Patriots, we've got the Steelers, we've got the Niners, we've got the Chiefs. If things go the way they're supposed to go, the Chiefs game, that should be good. The Chiefs should clinch up the division. Hopefully they rest their starters, and the Raiders can be competitive against them on that game. I want the Raiders to beat the Chiefs regardless of who's starting at quarterback, who's in that game. I can't stand the Chiefs. The Raiders-Niner game, that's going to be a dogfight. You're going to see, unfortunately, you're going to see a lot of red in Las Vegas. There's a lot of Niner fans that I know that have been planning this out for the past year. But that's going to be a dogfight, and that's going to be a game where I've got circled. Steelers, they're a team that the Raiders have had some success against. Derek has had some success against the Steelers, and so we'll see what happens there. But the Patriots, all eyes are on New England. Raiders are back home this week. Bill Belichick is coming in to face his protege. Josh McDaniels obviously does not want to lose to Bill. And this is a game where we look at this is a team that we have to beat. This is a team that we have to continue to we have to win. And now we'll see what the storyline is if the story writers like us again.
I was going to say it's all going to depend on how that script comes out. If they're all sitting around the round table going, you know what, we really messed them up last week. Let's see if we can give them just a little bit of hope. I think that's the thing. They like to keep us just on the edge. They like to keep us just on the edge of hope, and then at the last second they'll sweep the rug out. But if they want a good story, they'll make the same thing happen again this week that happened to us last week, but in the reverse order.
Yeah. Let's get this win. So before we head out, Raider Nation, we'll be back on Tuesday every week, live on Tuesday, 1 p.m. Me and my boy Dustin are dropping some stuff. I got some more stuff coming out. Make sure you give us a follow. Make sure you sub. Make sure you comment. Make sure you give a review. And until next week, we'll holla at you, Raider Nation.
That's right. Just win, baby.